Buenos dias, Español 1B. It is Senor Perez here. Great to see you guys. We are back from spring break. Let's get right to the notes, and then I'll explain everything for this week. So, starting out with section 4 is the last section of chapter 7. I'm excited to finish this chapter, and we will probably take this test next Friday. I will be posting it next week. You guys will have all week to review this section, and then all next week to review as well before you take it. It'll most likely be a video/Zoom recording that you'll just submit to me. We'll do a practice test next week together live. And yeah, it should be pretty good. So let's split this up with today and tomorrow. This lesson is a little hard. Verbs like gustar and the following verbs that we'll look at are conjugated and used differently. So you're going to be using indirect object pronouns to refer to these verbs, and you're conjugating them differently. So you're not conjugating them by the subject of the person, but rather the activity or thing you are talking about. So here's an example of how we use gustar. We remember how to use gustar, right? We would not say me gusto. We don't conjugate gustar like a regular AR verb or as, a, amos, an. We conjugate it the way that we have learned prior to this year. So a mí me gusta la escuela, a ti te gusta la escuela, you like school. We have this down here. I attached this notes package to your tiles. You guys can look at this right here. This is how to design and how to build these verbs like gustar and then other verbs that are used in the same way that are not conjugated like normal verbs. So gustar, as we said before, does not have a direct equivalent in English. So the verb to like something is not a verb in Spanish. You have to say gustar. There's no direct translation. So, for example, me gusta ese shampoo. I like that shampoo. That's how we understand it. But the literal meaning is that shampoo is pleasing to me. So you need the indirect object pronoun for this to make sense. Me gusta. You can't just say gusta or gusto. You have to have that indirect object pronoun. The same rule applies for all these verbs right here. So I attached a screenshot of this onto our tile so that you can do the first warm-up of the week, which is to make a sentence with each one. So, for example, if you were to say, homework bores me. So, for example, if you were to use the verb aburrir, the same way that we'd say use gustar, we'd say, let's talk about homework. La tarea me aburre. Okay? It's not conjugated the same way as we would as a regular verb. We have to use the construction that we just talked about with gustar, with the me, te, le, no, soles. Let's look at encantar. A mí, for emphasis, me encanta la playa. Or you could say, me gusta la playa. Okay? So these verbs are used the same way that gustar is used. Let's stop here because this is all I want you to focus on for Monday. Okay, so here you can find the Zoom links, obviously, for today and then for Wednesday as well. Monday screencast 7-4, verbs like gustar, then the notes I attached below. Wednesday's screencast will just be a further explanation. Here are your assignments. So assignment number 1 is 2 screenshots. They're right here. You click on them, go through them, complete them. If you have questions, please ask me tomorrow or once you start it. Just let me know. Then your warm-up for Monday, using the verbs like gustar attachment, write an example sentence for each. So don't forget to use the me, te, le, nos, and les. You have this screenshot right here, some examples right here. Please remember how to conjugate them correctly. We are conjugating them the same way we conjugate gustar. So you do not conjugate it the same way you'd conjugate normal verbs. Okay? So those A endings for AR verbs and then the E endings for the IR verb. And that's the only one. IR verb, aburrir, me aburre. Okay? Fill out notes from Monday's screen attached below. And then warm up for Wednesday. Write a sentence in Spanish using the word of the day and the verb like gustar. So use one of these verbs and then the Spanish word of the day, whatever that is, for whatever day you decide to do this. Make a sentence with that. Have it make sense, por favor. Then using the verb molestar, which means to bother, write a sentence in Spanish about someone who bothers you and why, using the word por qué. And then the third part for the warm-up for Wednesday, using the verb fascinar, which means to fascinate, write a sentence in Spanish about something that fascinates you about the world God has created. All right? Moving on to Friday, using the verb faltar. So see what I'm doing here? We're just using each verb from the verbs like gustar, okay? And then we're conjugating them the way that we have learned how to conjugate gustar, using them in the same way. And here's what I want you to write about. Something in your life that is lacking. Faltar means to lack or to need. The verb interesar, write a sentence about something that is interested in learning about in Spanish in the future. So me interesa aprender más sobre means it interests me more to learn about. And then assignment number 2 is a spoken Zoom video assignment, reviewing reflexive verbs and general Chapter 7 vocabulary. Find a partner or I'll do it with you. Click on assignment number 2 to download it. Open that up. Here it is. Okay, so this is a bigger spoken assignment than the last one, but the questions are a lot easier. That's the deal. Why is it not going to full screen? Okay, so you and a partner are going to split these 16 questions in half, and one's going to ask one person, and the other person will switch and then ask them questions. All right. ¿A qué hora te despiertas durante la semana? So we're answering these in complete sentences. So durante la semana me despierto a las 7 de la mañana. What does that mean? During the week, I wake up at 7 in the morning, okay? These are reflexive verbs. Remember to include indirect object pronoun. Good. If you have any questions, please ask me when this is over. All right. Thanks for paying attention and thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you guys right now.